Run at her. Run. Block.
Oh.
You still have to block.
She killed me on the ground. You can't block while you're on the ground.
Oh my god. Remember, this was supposed to be easy, everyone.
Shut up. There.
Now beat her. About fucking time. Now he's gonna die like 5 or 6 times in this battle.
I've never died in this battle.
You heard it, folks. You heard it.
I don't know how you could.
You died the first time.
In this battle?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I don't believe you.
I don't care. Good. That was a Planet of the Apes reference.
I don't get it.
Have you never seen Planet of the Apes?
I have, but it's been a long time ago.
Reload. Reload. Oh, why are you using the weak shotgun?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh my god, I actually thought he was gonna die.
You did?
Yeah.
Nah. You don't have to shoot her that much before she throws you out here, and then you have to shoot her a couple times here before she drops you again for that special gun, but
you don't have any good ammo.
yeah, I do. I have enhanced.
Oh, you have the enhanced handgun ammo?
You only need the pistol.
Sweet.
In the face. In the face. I can't tell if that goes through his leg when that happens.
It does. It goes through his leg. See, it's still in his leg.
I just wanted a family.
Reload.
Come on.
Oh my god, we might actually beat this.
Oh, heck yeah.
Look. It's the Albert whatever.
It's Albert's gun. That's kind of weird, huh?
Not really. The Albert 01. They didn't have anything else in this game that was even remotely related to the previous games, so they had to name a gun after one of the characters previously. Well, I hope that killed it because you're out of ammo.
It won't let me heal.
You're out of ammo. Sweet.
Chris, where are you?
Oh my god.
Come rescue me.
I can't believe we're done with this game. Oh my god.
Now we have to play the DLC.
Fuck that. Not today.
See, that wasn't that bad.
It's pretty fucking bad. And are you wanting to do all of the DLC or just specific DLC? Because I do know some of the DLC are just like mini games that are fucking stupid.
Just a specific DLC.
Just the story stuff?
Yeah, Chris's DLC.
You mean not Chris's DLC? Because this is not Chris.
Well, the guy that's supposed to be Chris.
You are not Chris.
Redfield.
You don't look anything like Chris.
Glad we found you.
You don't sound anything like Chris.
The fuck took you guys so long?
See, he didn't know they were going to be there.
I think he did.
Ethan?
No,
Oh,
they don't tell
she
you
did.
what happened to Mia at all. She's not on the helicopter with you.
I didn't remember her being on the helicopter.
He's only beat this game a few times, people. I've only seen the ending once.
I think she should have died. That would have been a better ending. So all of that was for nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. See the helicopter? Is that an umbrella?
They say that when
It said Blue Umbrella.
another opens.
Yes.
Well,
I still don't think Chris would work for Umbrella. Period. Even for even if it's
Well, they're not the actual umbrella.
even if it's the new Umbrella, it's literally like saying it would literally be like
here.
you can't win back that name. Umbrella can't win back. Umbrella is a bad organization and a bad company. Therefore, you can name as many companies as you want in the future Umbrella, and all you're doing is
These guys are here to
taking on the baggage of them being a terrible piece of shit company that tried to destroy the world.
Terms with losing me.
Well, now they're trying to fix
Now
it.
she's back and wants to
You
start
wouldn't
over.
choose the name Umbrella for that. You'd want to distance yourself from it as much as possible.
Maybe this is where the next door
True.
opens.
You know,
I
how,
just-
how come all these games are always flying off in a helicopter?
Because they can't think of anything better to do. But oh good, the credits. I'm so excited to never have to play this fucking game again. So excited about that.
Except when he plays.
I'm never playing this game. I also don't really care for this song.
See, the credits are all movie oriented. That's what all these games are doing now. They don't have to do all this.
They don't. Well, something similar to this. I mean, when we were playing Resident Evil Director's Cut, I loved the end credits of the non-DualShock Director's Cut because the music was like 80s action movie, kind of, and it was kind of like a movie thing. But
Here's the full song.
what? This?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or have you heard the full?
I've heard the full song.
Oh.
I just don't care for it, and I don't think it's that cool. It's not terrible, but it on a different game. I maybe the song belongs on a better game.
Some of this, like all of that, and the color palette here reminds me of The Walking Dead. With its theme song.
This song sounds like something out of Walking Dead, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I don't think the song's that great. It's not terrible. But it's just like,
What are they saying? I can't even.
go tell Aunt Rhodey, I think. It's go tell Aunt something, and I don't know what it's Rhodey maybe? Roti? That everybody's dead.
That's what it's going to be in the next game. That's where they're going to.
no.
They're going to tell Aunt. Yeah, they're going to go tell the aunt that they're all dead.
I don't want anything from Resident Evil 7 to be in Resident Evil 8. In fact, I don't want them to make a Resident Evil 8. I would rather them just reboot the whole fucking franchise. Start over. Just,
Yeah,
just
that would if they that would be
just
cool
focus-
if they remade the original games.
just remake those games. Well,
Yeah.
they've already remade 1, and that's fine. And we have 0. Finish 2.
No, I mean, if they
Remake
completely
3.
just they could
I don't.
go back and revamp and just kind of reboot the whole thing.
I want them to stop doing what they've done in this game and what they did in Resident Evil 4 and what they did in so many other games lately. I want them to stop changing shit and riding the coattails of a name. If you're going to make a game and you're going to make it different, name it something different and just have faith in your fucking game. That's what I want.
I think because I only played the Chris DLC once, but I think that feels a little bit more. This particular game almost feel like the introduction to a continued story or like a side story, because this is like I think there's more to this particular story that won't be revealed until another sequel. And I think they intentionally did that, which is why this feels out of place somewhat.
Well, that's what they did with 4. That's what they did with 4. And then 5 tied everything together. The problem was that 4 was a really good game, but 4 is not a Resident Evil game. 4 has nothing to do with the Resident Evil series at all.
Right. But I would say out of all of them since 4, some of the game mechanics in this one, and yes, fighting the enemies is still at a faster pace than like when you were fighting the zombies in the original, but I still think they slowed down the pacing of the entire game in this one versus what you did in like 5 and 6, and those games were completely fast paced.
And that's
but yeah, they don't need to do all the choreographic scares and all that stuff. That, to me, just the enemies creeping up on you or something like that is different.
I'm just saying, if this game was not called Resident Evil,
it could be called A Horror on the Bayou.
yeah, this game doesn't have to have the title Resident Evil. This game would have done just as well not being a Resident Evil game. In fact, it might have done better not being a Resident Evil game, because it comes in with expectations of what a Resident Evil game should be, and it meets none of them. So the people who don't like Resident Evil aren't going to play it because it says Resident Evil on it. And then the people who are going to play Resident Evil games are going to play it. And I know that a lot of people like this game, and a lot of people think this game took the series back to its roots. I wholeheartedly disagree. I do not see any similarities between this game and the previous games in the series at all. None.
What about 2? The remake of 2.
The remake of 2? 2 still follows a story. It still follows the plot lines, and it's all 2 is a graphical update, graphical and mechanical update to the original Resident Evil 2 game. This isn't that. This is a completely different game. And if they didn't have Umbrella at the end of the game, if they didn't have Chris Redfield at the end of the game,
you would never know.
This would not be a Resident Evil title. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they made a game, and it seems like they had no faith in it at all, and said, well, if we throw Resident Evil on it, people will play it.
Could be.
Now,
I
get there's an argument to be made that games in a series don't always have to follow in line or be similar or anything like that. And I'll agree with that. If you have already set in line that your series is an anthology. If it's anthological and it's an anthology, that means that each individual piece is just its own thing. So take Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2, right? Silent Hill 2 has almost nothing to do with Silent Hill 1 at all. It takes place in a town. You had some backstory of the town, but it's just a haunted, creepy town. That was set up as an anthology, and then when they get to 3, they take it back to the cult. Full force back to the cult. But they were kind of setting the groundwork to just make an anthology, and that would have been better, honestly. If they had set Silent Hill up to just be an anthology and had stopped trying to focus on the cult, I don't think that the US made games would have been as bad. I also don't think the US games would have been as poorly received if they didn't say Silent Hill. If they were just generic horror games, I think people would have been fine with them. I mean, they're not great games by any means, but I think because they were Silent Hill, people had an expectation, you know? And with this, I have an expectation of what I expect Resident Evil to be because they set a pattern of what Resident Evil is supposed to be. And then they break it. Well, if you're going to break it that much, just make it a different game.
Yeah, they've... But then at the same time, you can't fault them for trying to do something different.
I'm not faulting them for doing something different. I'm faulting them for doing something so drastically different as to not resemble the previous entries in any way.
That's going far-fetched to say that, though, because it does resemble... There are bits and pieces in there that resemble the previous more so than... I mean, they brought the box thing back. They brought... When you're first going through it, unless you're very... oriented on what you're doing and know where the guys are, you're gonna, the way they've set it up, you're gonna run lower on ammo than like in this playthrough that I just did.
Okay, but Resident Evil isn't just about item boxes. It's not just about item management. It's not just about running out of ammo. That's not what Resident Evil is. That's something Resident Evil has.
Well, that was a big part. The item management, the Resident Evil was a different class of survival, what you would call survival horror, because you were forced to manage that inventory in order to get past to the next part.
Well, yeah, Resident Evil set the standard for what a survival horror game should be. It wasn't the first survival horror game, but it was the first one that really set down hard guidelines for what survival horror was. Because at the time, survival horror wasn't actually a genre. But it set down those ground rules. But like I said, the item management in this game, fine, whatever. I'm not saying it's not a survival horror. I think it's more action horror than survival horror. But being survival horror, Silent Hill is a survival horror game. It doesn't feel like Resident Evil. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So being survival horror, having item management, doesn't make it Resident Evil.
And I think that's because of so much of the empowerment of the character and the design of the enemies and having actual bosses that are not completely mindless. I mean, it's okay to have one. I mean, they had Wesker in the previous games, but in this one they actually had... It wasn't just monsters you were fighting, and it wasn't just, there wasn't a lot of exploration. I can't even say it right now.
Wow, are you drunk?
Too many beers. But anyway, there wasn't a lot of that, and that's the downfall of this game. But other than that, I think they're going, at least they took a step back in the right direction. Maybe they'll continue with that. Maybe with Resident Evil 2, everybody will see it and go, wow, this is a great direction to go.
I hope Resident Evil 2, the remake, does really well, because while it's not exactly what I want out of a Resident Evil game, it's the closest that they've come since Resident Evil 3.
You should read all that really quickly.
I'm not going to. But there are a lot of things about the Resident Evil 2 remake that I'm not looking forward to, but it does look much better. But I really hope that any future Resident Evil games are more closely like the 2 remake. Yeah, that's fine. 6 hours. So more like the remake of 2 looks like it's going to be, and less, much less like this.
Oh, we didn't get all the files and antique coins or the Mr. Everywhere. They're called Mr. Everywheres?
The bobbleheads, yes.
Well,
I think you and I can agree on one thing, though. We do not want the series to be like 6. We don't want any more games like that.
Anything far away from 6 is better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want any more...
This is way better than 6.
I don't want any more first person at all. Period. The end. No more first person, because I won't play them.
All right, well, that's the end of this game.